Hello YouTube and welcome to another key issue comic books video. This is the comic book channel, and if this is your first time here, please make sure you subscribe, leave a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Um, so today I'm going to be talking about the comic book Savage Tales #1, published by Marvel. So this book has the first appearance of the Man-Thing. Um, like I said, it's a Marvel book. It's kind of like a Marvel magazine anthology book. Um, it was published in May of 1971. Uh, Roy Thomas wrote in it. Uh, there's quite a few different stories in here. I think five maybe. Um, Either way, uh, there's let's see. There's a Conan story, which I don't see the little. Oh, Conan the Barbarian. Okay, it's at the top. Um, there's a Ka-Zar story. Obviously, the Man-Thing. There's the story about these kind of like Amazonian type ladies, and there's a Black Brother story. So today, for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to focus on the Man-Thing story. I'm just going to basically read you the synopsis that is on the Marvel Wiki. Um, just so you can, if you don't have an introduction to the character and you don't know much about Man-Thing, you can just hear like a quick little video by me about him, and then dig in further if you'd like. But this is the synopsis for the coming of the Man-Thing, which sounds interesting. Either way, Dr. Theodore Ted Sallis is a scientist working on a variation of the lost super soldier serum on behalf of a government contractor. He sets up shop in the Florida Everglades with his assistant and lover, Ellie Brandt. What he doesn't realize, though, is that Brandt is actually a spy working for a criminal organization. As soon as Sallis confirms the success of his super soldier serum, it's like a tongue twister, man, Brandt contacts her people. The thugs raid Sallis' lab and try to steal the formula from him. The only existing sample is contained within a needle. Ted grabs the sample and races out towards his car. The thugs begin following him. Driving away, Sallis realizes the only way he might survive and preserve the formula is to inject himself with it. If nothing else, he succeeds in keeping it out of criminal hands. After injecting himself with the formula, Ted's car goes off a bridge and into the swamp. The super soldier serum, that's so hard to say, coursing through his bloodstream, interfaces with the surrounding vegetation and transforms Sallis into a mindless, shambling muck monster that men will come to call the Man-Thing. The Man-Thing rises from the swamp and attacks the criminals. He grabs one and shatters his spine against his knee. Ellie Brandt is present and begins screaming. The Man-Thing discovers that he has an empathetic connection to all humans, and fear produces a swelling rage within him. He grabs Ellie by the face and secretes a corrosive substance from his pores, burning Ellie badly. Whatever knows fear burns at the touch of the Man-Thing. And that is the tagline for the Man-Thing. So that's the synopsis for this Man-Thing story here, the first Man-Thing story and the first appearance and whatnot. Of course, as you've seen throughout this video, this is the cover. So I don't have, the facts in front of me or anything. I did on that. Obviously, I read that off of a website. But from what I recall from memory, that's a horrible thing to do in a YouTube video. The first appearance is here. Man-Thing goes on to have his own, story. Might have just been Adventure into Fear at first, and then a solo volume of Man-Thing, and I believe there was 3. It might have just been Adventure into Fear and then 2 volumes of a Man-Thing title. Don't quote me on either of those facts, but obviously that introduced Howard the Duck into the Marvel Universe. Howard the Duck was created in a Man-Thing or Adventure into Fear book, and there's some cool stuff in Man-Thing. It's definitely like a weird 70s horror book, obviously. But it's really cool. It's really, really different from Swamp Thing. So if you've never read Man Thing and you've read Swamp Thing and you think that it's just a ripoff, like, do yourself a favor and just check it out. It's really very different. Very, very different. The characters obviously are the same. They're not the same, but they obviously came from the same place. They're swamp creatures, swamp men. Um, but it's very, very different. Very different story there. Um, and as I said, we had those first couple of volumes of Man Thing. From there, we went into oh gosh, there was a 4th volume, like in the late '90s, I believe. I think so. There's a couple of, I believe there was a 3-part Max series. Could be wrong on that too. Man, I should have some facts in front of me. There was definitely a like a like a unpublished script that was a 3-part miniseries that came out a few years back. And then there was this latest volume that was a mini that was written by R.L. Stine of Goosebumps fame. And that one's okay. It's not as good as the rest of the stuff, but it's not bad. And from there, Man Thing just makes like random appearances throughout the Marvel universe. Sometimes with like the Thunderbolts with oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the name now, and it completely escapes me. It's like that horror book. Never mind. Either way, lately there's been a cover appearance in You Are Deadpool. I believe that was issue 3, maybe. Um, Looks like there's some stuff coming to some other books that I probably shouldn't say right now because I don't want to spoil anything. But Man Thing is spread throughout the Marvel universe, and it's always like for me, it's always a treat to see him in a book. He's just a really cool character, really different, and really cool that he survived this long in the incarnation that he has. You would expect someone like Swamp Thing, who doesn't have too much of a problem holding like a long running title, a long running series, for lots and lots of issues, to be able to do that. But Man Thing to pop in and out with minis and stuff like that, that's pretty cool. Just a great character. So even if you don't have one of these, because this is the first appearance, like I said, this can be a little pricey. I believe this same story is published in giant size #1. You can obviously get a Man Thing Essentials. I don't believe there's an omnibus, but there could be. And there's a really bad Sci-Fi Channel exclusive movie that I own and I still watch from time to time because it's a really cool character and I don't care how bad the movie is. So either way, that's Man Thing's first appearance. Savage Tales, #1, 1971. Hopefully I didn't butcher this video too bad. Again, I don't usually do this where I have absolutely no facts in front of me. But it's all in good fun. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you tomorrow.